Hello, and welcome to Talking Songs with me, Roland Jones, and happy St. David's Day to those of you Welsh and those of you who aren't Welsh. I am clearly Welsh with a surname like Jones. My wife was called Jones before she married me as well, so that, we're 100% Joneses. So who have we got today? We've got today, my guest is Mr. Kirk McElhinney. How are you doing, Kirk?
I'm okay, man. Are you?
I'm all right. You're definitely not Welsh, are you? But you're Celtic.
No, McElhinney. That's same sort of vibe, isn't it?
Yeah, we're the same sort of vibe. Yeah,
I was going to
we
say, you're
both come
not
from.
related to Indiana Jones, are you?
Not to my knowledge. Nor am I related to Quincy Jones, Paul Jones, Tom Jones. Or
Tom Jones. He's Welsh, isn't he?
Well, yeah. The funny thing is, it's a good link that Kirk. You probably don't know because my real name is Tom Jones. My first name is Tom.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that is unusual, isn't it?
Exactly.
There you go, man. That's pretty unusual.
But the thing was, in my family, because I was named after my father and he was named after his father, and we all lived in the same house. So we had, we're all, me and my dad were known by our middle names. So there you go. So enough of Welshness for now. Okay, Kirk, music for you. When did it all start, mate?
When did getting into? Well, the first thing I remember is Paul McCartney when I was about, I must have been about 6 or 7. I remember the Beatles coming on, black and white. It was Help or Twist and Shout. And I remember I used to run into the kitchen to get a butter knife to pretend it was a guitar. And I used to play in front of every time the Beatles come on. It was something about Paul McCartney that,
yeah.
I don't know. His eyes or whatever. He's very alluring sort of vibe, isn't he? His character.
Yeah.
And, when you hear him do his shaking his head and that, I remember just thinking like, oh, what's going on? I actually remember stopping and just looking,
Yeah.
What's that all about? So it was the Beatles really that got me.
Cool. So when did anybody in your family play music, play guitars? When did you first get your guitar and all that sort of thing?
Well, my mum was always big Motown. There was always Motown playing in the house.
Yeah.
I love Motown music. And my dad was always AC/DC and Led Zeppelin and the Rolling Stones. My dad used to do a pretty mean Mick Jagger impression.
I can picture it now.
Yeah, with the claps. He was very good. But he was more into the heavy rock and the Zepp and the AC/DC. I remember that blasting out as a kid. So I'd like the soul and then the riffs.
Well, I see you've got that plus the big. It covered everything, really, haven't you?
Yeah, it covered the pretty good ground there. I think I had a pretty good grounding of amazing popular music.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, so when did you start playing guitar then?
I was 13 playing guitar, but late. Well, not too late, I suppose. But it was my cousin. I went on my dad's side. They're all players, Well, some of them play. 3 of them play, and I got influenced watching them rehearsing, And my cousin gave me one of his classic guitars. I think it had 2 strings on. He said, "Just that, take that, string that up, and get back to us." And it was, he'd been all around the world with it, so it was just covered all in stickers from all where he'd been in the world. So I was more in awe of the stickers really than the guitar. I didn't really know what to do with the guitar, but I kind of liked when you plugged it in. I remember he put his Gibson SG over my neck, and he said, "Yeah, just I didn't know what to do, So I would just hit it like, and the sound was just like." And I was like, "What the?" Really blew my mind, So yeah. So I went back and I played the guitar, the 2-string guitar, and I was learning. For those about to. Something like that. There's like intro you can do on one string. I remember messing around with that. Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah. And what about later on? What about actually when you started writing songs? When did that start?
Probably when I was about 16, really. Terribly. I've only just started to get happy with writing songs, work. I feel like, that's captured me a bit, a lot and some.
Well, I think for a lot of people, some people start writing very, very young. I mean, I've talked to some people who say, "Oh, they wrote my first song when I was 9," and I'm thinking, I would have had no concept because obviously, like when I was growing up, songwriters were not. I mean, the Beatles were the first people to be their own songwriters, really. Prior to that, like Tom Jones, for example, never wrote his own songs, and neither did Presley, neither did Frank Sinatra, none of those people. So
It's always put a bit of a downer on for me.
Did
I
it?
heard that. It did, yeah, in a way, because you know, you hear about Elvis being the biggest thing, and I was like, because the songs are amazing, you know.
Yeah.
But when I heard he didn't write any, I thought, oh, come on, man, he's not such the king at all. You know what I mean? He's amazing, great performer. All the girls loved him and all tra-la-la, but you got to write, man. You got these. Who are these people that are writing these songs? I want to know who they are. You know,
Yeah.
I don't want a lot of these writers back then.
It's
in the background, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's interesting that because there's a book, I know I've mentioned it in this program before, called A Wop Wop a Loo Bap, which is written by Nick, whatever his name is. Anyway, and his idea is that the Beatles were actually the worst thing ever to happen to pop music, because
who is he? What's he called?
Nick something or other. I think he wrote the script for Saturday Night Fever, but he sort of
to listen to, isn't he?
Well, the thing is that is I think it's a bit tongue in cheek. Is that the Beatles were the worst thing to happen to pop music because people started to take it seriously after that. Because up until then,
I mean, I think they were the biggest thing to ever happen to music.
They certainly
full stop.
Yeah.
Beatles. There's nothing's captured music like that on a global scale like that. They shook the world up.
Yeah,
they completely shook up the world. You know, completely.
Well, John Lennon got into a lot of trouble about that, didn't he? When he said how they were more popular than Jesus Christ, I think was his phrase. Like,
people just need to calm down and relax, you know. Jesus. He was right, though. At the time, he was right. People were into it.
He was making a specific reference to, I think, sales of something or other, or audience reached or something or other. Yeah. He did have quite a valid point. Okay, then. Well, songwriting is important to you. What's your first song going to be?
A song I wrote when my daughter was born, called Blue Sky, and I've only just finished it. She was born 10 years ago. I remember writing it on the morning.
You don't rush.
No, nice. I've got loads of ideas. It'll be out soon. I've got loads of albums ahead. It'll be out in about 20 years. But I wrote this on the morning. I started writing it because it was a beautiful blue sky. So I never felt right, you know. So over time, I've changed the timing of it, and it seems to work now. So
it's grown up with her then.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
Well, in my head. Yeah. Light within my life, so bright. She guides me through my day. She's my blue sky. All I am and all I'll ever be, I will give to her, for she is my blue sky. She's my all, my life. She holds a grip inside, turning on the time. She changed my wrongs to right. And oh, let me say, one day will pass. So let's spread our love and let the moment light away. my life so bright. I want it any other way. She's my blue sky. All I want is for her to see how beautiful life can be. She's my sky. Oh, she's my all, my life. She holds a grip inside. I turn it on the tide. She changed my bones to ride. You know that we say one day will pass. So let's spread our love and let the moment last away. All that we say one day will pass. So let's spread our love and let the moment last away.
Lovely. Great stuff. Where do you think your style of writing comes from?
Don't know. Really.
We mentioned John Martin before.
Yeah.
There's certainly big hints of that in there.
Oh, definitely. Well, I was massively into Keith Richards and Pete Townsend and Jimmy Page and Hendrix, at the beginning. I used to play electric a lot. I used to have a white Gibson SG with a full-size pint of Guinness stuck on here. So when people said, "Do you want a drink?" I just showed them my guitar, so I'd have like a plethora of lined up of Guinness on my hands. They were good days, man. I like that. But I don't know where that's gone now. But yeah, and then I went to see Bert Jansch at the Band on the Wall, and then I ditched the electric guitar. Then I never played it since. He was the one that changed it all, really.
Yeah.
For me, yeah, he was the one. I mean, even the slap, because I tend to slap sometimes my guitar.
Yeah.
People think, oh, it's a John Martin thing, but it got all that from Bert,
Yeah.
I didn't even know who John Martin was really until I got from Bert,
Yeah.
Because Bert was just a
monster.
Did you ever see him live?
Yeah. I saw the original Pentangle lineup several times. Renbourn was my hero.
Really?
Yeah, I can remember going into school having bought a copy of Sir John Allot's Music Thingy and the Green Knight, which was a John Renbourn solo album.
Oh yeah,
where the cover was like brass rubbings, and everybody everybody else had like the Beano album, and they had I don't know. Leonard Cohen albums, and I've got this thing that looks like it's medieval music. What the hell is that?
Amazing.
No, I love those guys. I love them. They were just
totally changed the way David Graham and all those changed.
Yeah,
just changed how they play acoustic guitar. That finger picking, mainly Bert, really for me, because he was so unique, and his writing was just phenomenal. No one had played like that. No one wrote like that, really. Everyone. He was the man at the time. It's still right to his death.
Yeah. But it's interesting you mentioned Jimmy Page as well, because there's Black Mountainside and Black Waterside.
Yeah, let's never forget that.
And they're very, very similar, I feel.
Well, he kind of totally robbed him, really, and didn't credit him, which was naughty. And, he totally robbed his arrangement.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty much. Although he thought it was in Dadgad, and it wasn't. It was in It was in drop D, but he still
yeah.
robbed the whole arrangement, you know, and put a tabla behind it. I mean, it's great what he did. It's amazing. It sounds great, you know, but just credit him, you know.
Yeah,
anyway,
there's a lot of that.
I still love Jimmy Page, but
yeah.
Naughty that.
But yeah, I mean, Zeppelin as a whole have been accused of stealing left, right, and centre.
I mean, to be honest, I don't actually think it was Page. I mean, then again, if you listen to early Led Zeppelin and every one of those songs, when you listen to the original, it's like. But I think they had a bit of a brute of a manager. What was he called? Peter Grant.
Peter Grant, yeah.
I think he had a big part to. I think he just because there was no rules back then, or contracts.
I saw an interview with him recently, actually. I think on Sky Arts, where they were talking about the early days of Zeppelin. And Grant is not a man you'd want to cross. No. I'm absolutely sure of that.
No.
I mean, he was physically a big bloke.
Yeah.
As a lot of those managers were, strangely enough.
Well, he was a wrestler, weren't he? He was a wrestler as well.
Oh, was he?
So he was a professional wrestler for years, yeah.
Oh, right.
And then he got into managing, got into driving them around, and then becoming their manager, throwing his weight around, you know.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
I remember when I first moved from South Wales up to Hertfordshire, going to a pub in Welwyn Garden City, and I'd just seen a few months before Zeppelin had been on, first album had come out, and they'd been on some BBC Two program. And as I was walking into this pub in Welwyn Garden City, there was like an A4 sheet, sort of handwritten, stuck to a lamppost and it was like, obviously a few months old, and it just said, "Tonight, Led Zeppelin." And it was one of their original. I wish I'd have taken it off the lamppost. Oh, yes. Classic.
Wow.
Classic. Yeah.
Good.
So you're into Yanch at this point. So, and all that, in fact, it was all that transatlantic label, wasn't it? Because loads.
Yeah, but mainly Yanch, really. I got heavily into him. I wasn't really into the whole folk scene, It was just his playing I got obsessed with,
Yeah.
Completely obsessed with those albums and how he played and how he did it. And so then I just used to go. It was kind of like my school in Yanch. It was the first time something grabbed me, And I thought, that's what I want to do. I want to play, because he played like an orchestra in his hand, He could play it all, And so much surprise to his playing. Every time I went to see him, you'd be like, how is he doing that every time? How is he doing that? That's what you'd be saying on every song.
Yeah. Yeah. You and 17 other guitarists in the front row. We were all sat there going,
He was the man. He really was. He was the wizard of acoustic guitar for me. He was the Yoda. He was the master, Totally. It still is. I still listen to him. I still learn from his stuff. I know all of his stuff. And, a lot of people don't like his voice, but that's here or there for me. He's an amazing songwriter and true artist,
Yeah.
I got to meet him a few times, which was pretty. I did, I met him in London, and I supported him in Ashton.
Oh, right.
He was really sound guy. It was quite. I wasn't sound. I was pretty nervous, and to meet your idol is pretty weird.
Yeah,
pretty weird. It's a weird feeling. But it was sound. Got me a beer and chatted.
Nice. Oh, that's sweet. Lovely.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're into Yanch by this stage. You sort of trying to understand how he plays and how he did it, and the wonderful things he was doing. Who else were you listening to around that sort of time? Or was it just Yanch?
Then I got into John Martin heavily.
Yeah.
He was Mr. Smooth, man. His recordings were just genius. Another genius,
Yeah.
Another genius. That's what Yanch was. He was a genius, and John Martin was,
And also, Martin had Danny Thompson with him, which made a hell of it.
Hey, man, I was going to do a gig with Danny Thompson last week.
Oh, yeah.
I was gutted.
I
was gutted.
Yeah.
I was, I think it was in Sussex. I think it was. But all this COVID. Hopefully it's going to happen again. But they said they wanted to swing me on the gig, which I was a bit like, awesome, I'll do.
Wow.
But I got pulled, gutted.
Keep me posted on that one if that comes.
I will, But he played with John Martin, and those two together were amazing.
Yeah, I saw them a couple of times too. Yeah, but Thompson, he's a bit of a polymath, though, isn't he? I mean, because he's a jazz player. I mean, his influence in Pentangle was massive.
Yeah,
the swing of it was just, and I think he was. Well, from what I know, what I've read, John Martin needed a bit of control, shall we say? And I've
heard some stories, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? They say all this. I mean, I know stories of him being a right thug and all this, you know. But
Yeah.
you listen to the songs, that's who he is. You don't write a song like Sweet Little Mystery and, you know, I curl around you like a fern in the spring. Danny Thompson always quotes that lyric. It's a beautiful lyric to write. He's a beautiful being inside there, you know. It's just a tortured soul, it felt to me. But I bet he was dead sound. I watched a documentary on him the other day of him. There's the latest one when he has his leg off. Have you seen that one?
No, I've not. No, I've been.
It's amazing. It's on YouTube. Check it out. It's yeah, it's a great documentary. He's not bothered. He's got this big bow of flowers on his head the night before he's getting his leg off, and his Jack Russell's there, and he's just, you know, smoking some stuff. But yeah, not bothered at all, you know. I thought, yeah, still.
I know somebody told me they saw a documentary about him where he was really quite nasty to people actually during the making of the film. But it's a difficult thing, though, isn't it? I mean, currently there's this big thing about Clapton and his horrific statements about, you know, the rivers of blood and racist comments like that.
Yeah, but drugs doesn't fit some people, you know.
Yeah,
these people are mostly out off their heads and not knowing what's going on. Obviously, Clapton's not racist. Yeah, he learned from all the great blues. It's like people blew it up. You know what I mean? He was probably having a breakdown at the time or something.
I think it was wasn't it just around the time when he was coming out of
was it rehab or something?
Yeah, and he was going through rehab, I think.
Yeah, and he was a heroin addict. You know,
of course he was. Yeah. Doesn't help, does it?
No, at all, man. Not at all. No, he can't get on Clapton. He's amazing, Clapton. You know, he's solid. You know, but he's definitely not racist. I don't know whether the media just jump on it. It's a tricky one, the blacks or the blues. You know, that's where he's.
Yeah.
You know.
It's a tricky one because there's lots of people in the music industry and in other, you know, creative areas who you think, I love their work, but he's actually not a nice person. He or she is not a nice person. I mean, Miles Davis, I love Miles Davis's work, but very unpleasant character to everybody.
Yeah. Although, you know, John McLaughlin, and I love John McLaughlin as well. I got into him. I couldn't never get into his playing, but I just love listening to him. You know.
Yeah.
It's like it's an island you'll never get on. You know. Ever. And that's, you know, there's loads of players like that, though. You know, I don't think like that anymore. It used to really do me head in, all these amazing people, and I was just thinking, I'm crap. You know, I need to. Yeah. This is rubbish. You know, but I don't think that anymore. Just enjoy it.
McLaughlin is something special, but what you're saying about him in relation to Miles Davis is that lovely story about when he got invited to play on In a Silent Way, and McLaughlin's telling the story, and he says about how nervous he felt, and Miles said, I want you to play the introductions, and he sort of panicked, and he said, I was electric. I said, yeah, okay. And he said, okay, well, just give me a few minutes to, I need to get my head round it. And he said, Miles Davis leant towards him and went, is that a matter of fact, huh? He said it was the most terrifying experience in the studio.
Didn't he say something like, play the guitars if you've never played it or something? That's how I want you to play it.
That's something.
John McLaughlin's like, what the?
Yeah.
He said, just play it like you've never played it before, as if it's a new instrument. And he was like, awesome.
Yeah, okay. How do you suggest I do that then, Mr. Miles?
Magic, amazing though, you know.
Yeah, fantastic stuff.
Amazing players.
Okay, next song. What have you got for us?
Next tune. This tune's called Same Old Spiel. And it's about I think this system needs to change for us as humanity. I really do. I think there's something there's not enough love mentioned, and I don't know why. It's a weird thing. We don't hear that message of love being said that much, you know. We really don't with our leaders, on the telly, on the media, on the news. It just seems to me like the same old spiel that I'm hearing all the time. So this is where this song come from, you know. And I think that message of love is important for us because it's not something to shy away from, or because some people seem to tighten up when you start talking about love and where we're going as a people and who we are, and, you know, the oneness. People tend to think you're weird or you're a bit odd, but when you dig down deep, that's the core of it. That's who we are. That's what we want. We're all looking for love, and we want each other. We need each other, you know. We need to remember that, to be kinder. And so this is that song.
Okay.
It's not a love song though.
Can you hear people calling? I think it's time to take a stand. You're making moves without warning, just like a puppet in your hand. Same old spiel that drips from your lips like a sphere. It spins again and again. Same old spiel that drips from your lips like a sphere. It spins again and again. Got to keep the ball rolling. Stand tall, keep your head up high. Make your moves, keep on strolling. Change that perception in your mind. Same old spiel that drips from your lips like a sphere. It spins again and again. Same old spiel that drips from your lips like a sphere. It spins again and again. Same old spiel that drips, baby, from your lips like a sphere. It spins again and again. Same old spiel that drips from your lips like a sphere. It spins again and again. It's our same old spiel. 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 It's our same old.
Nice. It's the way that you play. A friend of mine, a guy I used to play in a duo with, came up with this phrase which I really like, and he said, and what he said describes what you do. It's muscular guitar. It's muscular acoustic guitar because it's all driven from the right hand. Because certainly, I mean, when I first started playing guitar in the 60s, lots of guitar picking was very delicate and a little bit wimpy, frankly.
Yeah.
And then some of these people came up.
There's nothing wrong with that, you know.
No, nothing wrong with it, but it doesn't grab me, you know.
Yeah.
And then suddenly people like Jansch came along, and other people.
Just that, you're away, you know.
Yeah, exactly. It just takes it up a notch.
Amazing.
And I think it's one of those things that, and I don't know if you've come across this, but it always strikes me that when people learn to play the guitar, they're worried about the left hand so much, then this one just kind of waves around, kind of on its own.
I'm pretty crap on the left hand. I'm not very good. I'm not very. It's a bit. I could never play a plectrum. I was rubbish for the plex. So then I got into I just really studied that sort of keeping the vibe going. A bit of a Wiz Jones sort of. He was another one that influenced me a lot. You know, he was another amazing guy who I got to met as well, and actually become friend. You know, chat with amazing guy. I've got a gig with him in London coming up actually.
Oh yeah,
and in a Green Note with Wiz Jones. But he's amazing. He's one of the greats. You know, he's right. He's got the best right hand ever. It's just ridiculous. You know, so
But it is that right hand that drives the instrument.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and all the people you've described. In fact, I'm so interestingly enough, so far we've only talked about British guitar players here, haven't we?
Yeah, there's one that,
no Americans have come into the scene yet.
Well, to be honest, I think the greatest guitarist is Paco de Lucia,
Right.
Lucia or Lucia, however you say it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the greatest for me. He was technically,
Mm-hmm.
just, it was as if you're being blown against a wall when he plays, you know. He had both hands solid,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah.
And he was playing from, you know, he played from when he was like 4. He literally had to play. You know, growing up in South Spain, he was in the genes. You know, it got passed down, and you can hear it. And he had to go out. That's how he made his living. He didn't go to school. He just played the guitar for like 10 hours a day, constantly. Then he went to America when he was 13 on his own to do touring over there.
Was he that young when he started? Wow.
Yeah, he was young. Yeah, he was about 13 for him and his brother. His brother sang and he played guitar.
Right.
And it's just the greatest guitarist for me, really. When I hear him play,
that's
you know,
interesting.
Just outstanding, you know.
I some time I worked with a guy who was a flamenco sort of gypsy king style guitar player, and he was a bit of a child prodigy as well. And the strength with which he played was just incredible. I mean, it's the Rasguiado and all that sort of stuff, you know. And he came over a couple of times, and we did some recording over here. And I went to an open mic night gig with him once, and I was playing. I've got a Taylor with a pickup in it, so I'm singing into a microphone, and I've got my Taylor which is plugged into the PA, and he's just sat there playing this flamenco guitar, absolutely deafening. It was ridiculous. The amount of volume that came out of it was just astronomical. It's all out of the strength, you know. And he was wonderful to play with. Wonderful guy.
Wow.
Yeah. So, did you ever study that sort of guitar playing, like classical, or was it just
no? I did self-taught, really. You know,
yeah,
it was all self-taught. Didn't really. I had about one lesson. I could never read. I found it really hard to read. You know, I found it hard to read anyway. I had to take time and think I'm a bit of a dyslexic scale. You know, I have to really sit in the quiet and really read. You know. Those cogs on that side of my brain are a bit rusty, I think. But so I found reading music hard as well. You know, I found it boring as well, and learning scales, all that. Yeah. I found that very boring at first. You know, I just wanted to play the Who. You know, I just wanted to do windmills and just rock out. That's all I wanted. I didn't want.
Well, again, you see, we're back to Miles Davis. Miles Davis said, if you get good at playing scales, that's all you're getting good at. You're not getting good at doing anything.
Well, I think that comes later. I think to introduce someone on scales at the beginning, you can just kill it for them, you know.
Absolutely, yeah.
Get them playing a song. That's what it's about.
That's what killed the piano for me. You
know,
I started off doing piano lessons, and because my father was an organist, and you know, all of that sort of classical training. And I did the first 5 grades. And the night before the last exam that I did, my cousin showed me how to play 8 chords on a guitar. And that was the end of the story, basically.
8 chords of the truth. What's that?
Exactly. Yeah. Who wrote that? 3 chords of the truth. Where does it come from?
Was it Dylan that, or was it?
I don't know. I've got right.
Or was it your man
singing?
What's he called? The country singer.
Yeah.
Cash. Was it not Cash? Johnny Cash.
Could be Johnny Cash. Yeah.
It's a great saying.
Yeah, it is fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing.
So who do you rate these days? Who do you listen to when you're not playing? I imagine you spend a lot of your time playing, frankly. But...
I do play. Well, I just play. Yeah, never practiced. You know, I always just. I've always played the guitar. You know.
Yeah.
Never sat down and thought I need to do an hour of scale ever.
No.
I just never. It just puts me off. You know, if I hear a sound in my head, I'll work it out. You know.
Yes.
But most of the time, I don't know what I'm playing. I don't know what I'm playing really. I just I'd have to work it out. But most a lot of guitarists are all over it, aren't they? You know, which is amazing to see. But I haven't got that brain. Just like to hear.
I'm the same. I mean, I played quite a lot of jazz at one time, and I played with a big band and stuff like that. But then I'd go on these sort of weekends, you know, jazz weekends and stuff like that. And these guys then said, "Well, yeah, I've spent the week transcribing Joe Pass's story." Oh, God's sake! So you're going to try and play it exactly like Joe Pass? I don't think you're wasting your time, frankly. I think there's no point at all. No, there's more exciting.
But I mean, the guitar is amazing instrument. There's so many. They're all brilliant. Do you know what I mean? I can't, even though I'm picking ones, but I mean, there's Mike Walker from
Mike,
Manchester jazz guitarist, who's a phenomenal player.
Yeah.
And he knows all his stuff, inside out. You can tell that, but he plays because he plays from the heart,
Yeah.
And that is it. That's why people love him so much, because he takes you there, and his solos. I've never known anyone to take you on a journey in a solo before. You think it's all you're just waiting, and then the tsunami comes in, and that's it. It's game over. He hits you hard, and it's amazing, that style of playing.
I think he's phenomenal. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, I don't know if you're talking about local guitar. Have you ever come across Bob Gill?
No,
I don't know whether he's still alive, to be honest. But he was a session player in London in the late '60s. He's from Manchester and developed a bad drink problem and kind of lost it, basically. But he was a serious player. He told me once that he was playing at Abbey Road when McCartney was auditioning for the Wings band. He was the house band that was auditioning various drummers.
Right.
And he said to me, the bloke I liked was that Stuart Copeland chap. He was good.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so Bob's a fabulous player. As
Really?
I say, I'm not sure he's still alive, but he was brilliant. But again, totally fluid, He played, and he never looked at what he was doing. He used to play like Wes Montgomery, that just looked at the audience. He was beautiful to listen to. Beautiful.
Amazing.
Okay, talking of listening, what's your next song?
The next one is a tune called Connection. It's about connecting, how we connect through the internet or through each other, and that sort of vibe. It should go well. We'll see. Apologise for any bum notes. Was made, words that we say, the vibe feels alive. May you walk in the light, wedged in my mind. These days testing time, sailing alone. My gift is my song. Your home is inside. I hope you find what's real. Spins around, answers lost and unfound. Where are you now? Do you call out loud? Your home is inside. I hope what's real.
mind's just like mine. We're all two of a kind. What echoes inside.
Excellent. Excellent. Actually, it's funny you said connection, because one of the people I was going to mention was a guy that was around in the late 60s. I don't think he only recorded a couple of albums, who was another muscular guitar player called Andy Fernbach. And he recorded an album called If I Miss My Connections. And I think I remember his band was actually called The Connections as well. I don't know if you.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was another one of those crew that of that sort of early British blues thing, which Jansch was a part of, with Dave Kelly and Joanne Kelly and all those people. And Andy Fernbach was part of that. And Tony McPhee, of course, was part of that.
So from that generation to that sort of.
Yeah. There was an amazing album released in the 60s called An Anthology of British Blues, which bizarrely, because it had all those people on it, was produced by Mike Batt, as in the Wombles man.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He was 16 years old and he worked for a publishing company in Bristol, I think it was.
The man who wrote the Wombles, the actual track?
He created the Wombles.
Oh, did he?
Mike Batt was the man who invented the Wombles.
And did he write that tune?
Yeah, he wrote all of them, as far as I know.
That's a great tune, that.
Hugely successful. Yeah. But he started off with the British blues, which
wow.
There you go. He's a useless British music history. Great song, Matt. Love it. Listen, we've got a place here so that people can find out more about you on Facebook. So what have you got planned now? I know you're working with a trio. Tell us a bit about what the trio's up to.
Well, it's amazing, the trio. It's just me, John Ellis, two Jedi Masters I'm playing with at the minute. Really, I feel quite, those two are so, they can go anything. They can go anywhere, and they're playing. Yeah. I'm quite restricted, but those two are not, John Ellis, who's on keys and all kinds of mad sounds, but he's just world. He just travels through the ethos, John, when he plays, you know what I mean? And he takes everyone with him, he takes everyone with him and always has, he's playing. It's just, I just love hearing him play. I really do. He's just,
I've heard him. I've never worked with him, but everybody talks incredibly highly of him.
Oh, he's but not just that. He's my brother, you know what I mean, from another mother. We really get on. We have a good laugh, you know what I mean, which is everything for me, I think it's probably that northern. I'm from Rochdale, he's from Middleton, so there's that same sort of culture thing. I don't know, but yeah, he's amazing. He's a beautiful man. I love him. He's just a phenomenal player,
Yeah.
So I did the album at his studio at Limefield. Yeah, which was great. I just love
let's not forget Mr. Hay on the drums.
Oh no, man! Getting to the
other Jedi.
Yeah, the other one, man. He's just brought an album out as himself, which is beautiful. It was at his house the other day, listening to it. It's just through his turntable and that, It's amazing album. It's just so free. He's very free as a player, but he listens, but he tunes in at the same time.
I know that Helen Pillager's on it on sax, and Matt Nixon's on it on sax. Presumably John's on it on keys. Yeah,
John's on it somewhere. Yeah, and guitar. John plays a bit of guitar as well.
Right.
Yeah, they're all on it. There's loads on it, I think. It sounds great.
I've not heard it yet.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful album. Really, it's so uplifting.
I know Matt's very, very proud of his contribution to it.
Oh, really? Yeah, Matt plays a good part. Actually, one of his songs. His part's great.
Yeah,
but it's great playing with those two. It just works. It's just a big sound we've got now, and it's great to play with those because it's I've done hundreds and hundreds of gigs on my own, so it's just nice to play with those two. It's great big sound. It's amazing. Love it.
And I think the thing is, I mean, if you write on acoustic guitar, you perform on acoustic guitar, but you also work in a trio, and it takes the weight off you in a sense.
Yeah.
but on the same time, it actually gives you more space to do more stuff.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, so it makes it easy.
It does, yeah. I mean, they're all based around my tunes. I feel sorry for that. I can't follow them. They have to follow me, you know. I can't be following their moves. It doesn't work that way, but...
Kirk, that's our secret, man. That's our secret. Yeah. That's what I do too.
I'm not a jam. I can't really jam, you see. I'm not a jammer like that.
Yeah.
I've never got my head around that vibe, but I'm quite envious of people who can, you know. And those two can, you know. When we're setting up, they just go off and I'm getting my guitar tuned in and they're just playing, just flying. It's amazing. I wish that alone could be recorded, what they just play through, you know.
Yeah. So you recorded. What's where are you up to with recording then with them?
Well, we've just done this new album, which has come out, which is great. I'm so proud of it. And we're just chatting about doing the next. I'm already writing the next few tunes for the next recording, so that they're nearly done. And we're just, you know, just on the hunt to get the sound out there now. We've done a good few gigs together, which is great. You know, sounds great. Really.
Where can we hear the album?
The album's on Bandcamp. You can hear it on my Bandcamp.
Yeah.
And if you go onto my Facebook page, there's a link from it there.
Yeah, cool.
That's, you know, I won't say the other one, even though it's on the biggest platform as well. But no, they get enough mention. Go to Bandcamp. That's great for all musicians.
I'm with that. Go to Bandcamp.
It really is.
Definitely.
It's fairer. Much fairer, you know.
The other thing, I was talking to somebody at Bandcamp a while ago about this, about pricing. And I said, you know, well, how, you know, when people are being offered music for free, how do you estimate what this is about 3 or 4 years ago. I was talking to them about this, and the guy said, well, we reckon that the people who do best on Bandcamp are those people who say, well, pay what you want.
Yeah.
And therefore the people who really appreciate it will pay for it.
Yeah, it's always a nice touch. I was in a band with the Sapphires. We did a great album, which is still on Bandcamp. Anyway, we said the same thing, you know.
Yeah.
To pay what you want. It's a nice. It's human. That it feels nice.
It's an open gesture, isn't it?
Yeah, because the important thing is that you listen to the music. You know, I don't want you not listening to it because you can't afford it. That's not right, is it? You know, I understand we all need to get paid and that, but we don't need much. We don't need hundreds of millions. You know what I mean? That time's got to stop. You know, we just need enough to get by, and music's the one. That's what I want you to listen to. It's about connecting, and you know, that's important. That.
Brilliant. That's a lovely message to end with, mate. Can we hear one more song?
One more tune, yeah.
That's a good message. I like that.
This is the tune from the latest album. Hang on a minute. No, it's not. Not in that tune. It's not. This one's tune. This is called Cold Embrace.
All around, shallow souls to be found, too far beyond that place. What we're told, illusion cold, master plans are through the soul. I see you, you don't see me. It's cold, so cold. Change your gear, speak your mind, you're disciplined. Get in line, don't question why. that spot is burning out. Rules you make, they leave no doubt. In your head, what's yours is mine. So cold, so cold, rain. So cold, so cold, rain. All I hear and feel right here, right now, oh, today. So give it all away. It's clear. Never let the scales tip one way. I swear. Tight and grip drains the main vein. No room to slip or break these chains. The featherhead is running out. The eye in the sky sees every move. Your alibis you can prove. Your mouth is blue, no words come out. So cold, so cold, rain. So cold, so cold, rain. Well, all I hear and feel right here, right now, today. Give it all away. It's clear. Never let the scales tip one way. I say. Get a grip, aim for the higher ground. No plans to change. It's a new day.
Excellent. Excellent. A bit of light fingering from me there made it nearly go into a top of the pop special because it suddenly went like that. I've no idea why. But there you go. Kirk, that was brilliant. Love it, man.
Nice one, man.
Thanks for joining me.
Great.
Hope everybody else has enjoyed it as much as I have. That was great. Lovely music. Great playing.
Well, thank you.
Keep going with the muscular guitar.
Oh.
Sounds great.
Oh,
And,
wicked it will. Great chatting
I'll
to you,
see
man.
you soon. Cheers,
Yeah,
man.
you.
Take care.
Thanks a lot.
Oh, brilliant. Okay. So that's it from Talking Songs for this week. So I'll be back in 2 weeks' time. And in the meantime, look after yourselves, have fun, and above all, enjoy your music. Take care. Bye.
I've been thinking about where I've been, the places I've visited, the things I've seen, made decisions by people I've met. Some were good ones and some I regret. Don't know the future, can't change the past. That's how it is. That's how it is.